Hello, welcome back. Episode 16. I actually went back and counted them. This is 16.
Did we never make it?
They said we never made it. What we're here, 16 gore. And we're off to a good start. I mean, we both, when we met up earlier, we were both yawning. We're a couple of lazy podcasters today.
It's hot as shit out in the old suburbs of Detroit. I had 3 gravy pops, and I'm still like groggy.
You've been working off that hamburger, too.
Yeah, hamburger.
I took a power nap, so hopefully I'll be waking up here in a moment. But, yeah, we got a weird one today.
Well, the movie's not that weird, but the source material is weird as fuck.
The source material is worth its weight in gold, I'd say. Like, it's based on... Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
Gold.
That was a stretch.
I think there's 35 novels out there in the series, but this one is based on the first, and, you know, I watched it without any context of the novels. You just told me, like, there's some weird shit going on around this movie.
I wish a lot of this weird shit was in the movie.
Yeah, it would have been better if more of the weird shit got involved. They throw around a couple token things. It'd be... I don't have a good reference to pull here. It'd be like Harry Potter, but, there's like a mention of a wand, but there's no magic involved or something.
Yeah, there's...
that actually works pretty well.
I don't know, Are there, like, creatures on Gore, like in the books? Because there weren't in the movie. Dragons or stuff like that?
Look, I ordered all the books.
They're hard to find.
Yeah. They didn't make it here in time for me to read all of them, so I could give you guys
binge read?
Yeah, I couldn't binge read them. They're all about 45 pages per novel, so it's basically a 30-page description of somebody getting entered. So... But, so I watched it once without much context other than Murray's telling me it was weird. And then I did some research and watched it again yesterday. And I got to tell you, having this context really helped me out. So I pulled out some shit I'm going to share here in a second. And if you do choose to watch the movie afterwards, you're gonna be happy to know. I may be happy. I don't know what you'll be feeling, but you'll be richer in life for knowing these things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's on YouTube, so it won't cost you anything if you want to watch it.
It's true. You can find it on YouTube. So, in the Gore philosophy, I
like that.
People are either in their natural place or need to be put in it. So it's a heavy base caste system. Muscle-bound male warriors are at the top of the social ladder, while helpless, submissive females are not only at the bottom, but overjoyed to find themselves in the ownership of a powerful man. So I'm pretty sure the main character of this movie is a pretty much direct representation of John Norman, the writer of the stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he's
just probably an incel who is just like, all women should be attracted to me and submissive to me. All right. So, next point.
Well, I think he had some kids. I think he was married with kids, so he's not a total...
Boy, he had that writer money.
Oh,
clearly, that's what did it.
Is that it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
While there are a significant amount of free women in Gore, many of the novels focus heavily on enslaved females, or kajiri, as they are called in the books. These kajiri, I hope that pronouncing that right, and the relationship they have... Actually, I hope we
get like a super hardcore Gore person who's like, that's not how you say it, and just like totally rips us one.
I mean, my research took me to the bounds of like abandoned forums and everything, and like it's been about a year since anyone's posted on half of them.
You went underground?
Of course I did. I went on that dark web you've been hearing about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I told you the first time I ever heard about this was my sister. I don't know how she heard about it, but she was like trolling one of those boards, and they did not like it. They booted her off.
I can't imagine they would. They take this shit very seriously.
They were like, "You're a slave woman. You can't say that."
Wow. So
I didn't say it.
I know. So these Kajire and the relationship they have with their owners have become a major part of the Gorean subculture. Kajiri have rules governing their language, posture, and clothing. And I got more about some of these slave rules coming up. They are completely subservient to the wishes of their owner, including sexually. Of course, you got to make sure to mention sexually, so they can't say, "I didn't know they were going to bang me whenever they wanted." And must be branded and wear a collar. I actually sent Murray a photo of a woman who is a Kajiri.
The people you think are into this, those are exactly the type of people. Like, let's just say unattractive people, men and women. I'm not even just ragging on the women. They're just.
It's people looking for a weird niche culture to belong to, and they found it. Yeah. So good for them.
I guess.
They don't seem to harm people. I don't mind that.
Oh, I don't care. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
But I don't have to, go, that's sexy. It's not. It's gross.
Yeah, oh, no, of course you don't.
I
forced that on you. I sent it to you.
Yeah, I wonder, there's, comic conventions and cosplay and all that shit. Is you think we could start, a gore convention? I mean, we might be able to make some money off of that.
I think about 5 people might show up.
Well, how about if we advertise on the dark web? You think how many people we could get? I've been on the dark web. They're all about gore.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is then they have to reveal themselves. Because I'm going to make them sign a lot of consent forms.
Well, you have to in this day and age.
Yes.
Right. We have to protect ourselves.
Then the dark web, the anonymity of the dark web has just been ruined because I've got their names.
I don't want to ruin the dark web. So much good stuff happens on the dark web.
It wouldn't ruin the dark web. It would ruin their anonymity.
As far as I know, the little research I did, John Norman is still alive, the creator of gore. He's 81.
Yeah.
And we could probably get him. We should try to get him as a guest for this episode. Shit.
Well, there is a sequel, so
yes. Outlaw of Gore.
We'll send this over to his people, a couple of his Kajiris.
I gotta believe he was not happy with these adaptations because I wasn't. And I don't know nothing about the gore world.
I need to watch the second one, but I would be pretty.
Judge. I need to watch. I'm not going to judge right now. I need to see the second.
Hey
man. Hey man.
You don't like over the top. I love over the top.
Yeah,
so
right.
Obviously,
and you and everybody. That's our second most popular. So I'm in the minority on that one.
Clearly. I know what I thought. I know a good movie when I see it.
People love their arm wrestling. Right. Go figure.
As one book explains, only in a collar can a woman be truly free.
That makes sense.
That makes complete sense. Yeah. The welfare of their fellow cast members is more important to a Gorian than their own well-being. In return for their loyalty, they can expect protection and care if they ever need it. If they try to leave their caste without the necessary and hard to acquire consent, they become outlaws, people of no identity and no worth.
Do you think Kanye West is a Gorian?
Oh my God, yes.
Because he was saying how slavery was a choice.
Oh yeah,
a few months ago.
I bet he's
the
always.
Kardashians are do they have a brand somewhere on their ass or something?
Yeah, I believe it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You're throwing a lot of conspiracy theories out today. We're gonna have to touch on that in a minute.
I'm just asking questions.
Oh, just asking questions. Good. Everybody needs one of yous. Every city, town, and village has something called a homestone. Something that actually does get mentioned in the movie.
Yeah, that was in the movie.
Yeah. This curious rock imbues occupants of the habitation with a sense of place and purpose. It represents sovereignty for the individuals who live within the stone's dominion and to whom it belongs. Whatever caste someone belongs to, they can expect respect from others as long as they have a homestone. So in the movie, they use the homestone as this weird teleportation device, and the plot is the bad guys trying to collect homestones for some reason. I guess just to besmirch the people.
No, because every one of those movies, you got to collect it because somehow if you put them all together, you're more powerful.
It's like Dragon Balls. Yeah, you get them. You get them all.
There's always some object. It's like a video game. There's 12 of them.
Yeah, you got 12 levels. You got to beat each level. Each level gets increasingly harder.
Yeah,
man,
gore video game. That would have been awesome.
With the advanced technology and graphics today, someone is working on it. I saw the guy who made the tabletop RPG version of Gore. And
that exists.
This exists. It's not in like hardcover print or anything. It's a PDF. You have to pay $5 to download. So guess who has it? Not me, because I wasn't willing to pay that guy $5.
I wouldn't want to be on whatever list you'd be on if you.
Yeah,
if you
exactly. Well, dark web.
Dark web.
I pay with. I could pay with my bitcoins.
Bitcoins, yeah.
What did I want to say about that? Oh yeah, the guy. I loved it because a couple people left him a comment, and one of them was just like, "Nobody asked for it. Everybody hates it, but of course you did it for us." Winky face.
Ooh. The bad boys of the internet.
Bad boys of the internet. This is a actual true story. I think it was dated back in 2006, and this is part of that article I sent you. But a recent full-time Korean role player, so a guy who lived the lifestyle. He was pretty wealthy. He was in prison 2 years after Lee Thompson. I guess that was the guy. The Darlington sex cult leader first received a visit from the police. He was jailed for forcing one of his kajiris for having sex with other men against her will. So he really tried to live out the "you're my sex
really
life."
Good people.
Yes. This one guy.
We were just talking about. I don't know if you were here earlier when we were with Hair Metal Sean. Were you talking? We were talking about that cult now that's out. It was like a sex cult. And they were branding women too, and like a girl from like the Smallville TV show was involved with it.
Yeah,
I wonder if that guy's like into gore because the girls, all the women got branded with some kind of like laser fucking thing.
I don't remember what the logo looked like, but the Kajiri have like it's like a weird elongated cage thing going on.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. And they call it a kef, which
kef.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got one in Sanskrit. Tattooed on my bicep.
Kef?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad you have a tattoo that you're just like, yeah, I don't fucking know.
Like everyone else who gets a tattoo. Oh, right. They're all meaningful. Okay.
Yeah, people do usually like to put a lot more interpretation into things.
Okay. You've never watched Ink Master. Go on.
I don't. So let's get into some of these slave rules.
I want to hear them.
You want to hear them. I believe there was 10 of them. Like 10 commandments,
Exactly. Those got to be 10.
All free persons are to be addressed as either master or mistress. So
women can have slaves too in Gore.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they do, but at the same time, women are allowed to be free persons.
But they're outlaws, aren't they?
No, that's only if you
you're a slave and you escape.
That's only if you basically try to live outside of your caste. Okay. So if you are born a slave, like apparently it's really hard to get out of slave caste.
Sounds like it, yeah.
If you decide to toss your chains aside and run off on your own, then you're an outlaw. Okay. But there is free men and women. I don't know. So free persons are to be addressed as either master or mistress. If the sex of the free person cannot be determined from the name, master is to be used until the gender is clarified.
That's some pretty woke shit. I mean, we're kind of condemning
really
them, but they were way ahead of the curve with that one.
Exactly. Slave rule number 2. And this was all lifted from like the sketchiest, weirdest gore website, like trapped in the early 90s, era and kept alive for some reason.
Like GeoCities.
Yeah. Oh my God, you should see I want to say the forums they use is called like Palaces. And then I learned about Palaces because like apparently Korn, the band Korn, made it like super popular. But it's just like really shitty clip art in a background, and that's like your avatar to communicate with all the other people in the room. Oh.
Well, we can't get on Facebook. You think we could get a Palace?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
All right, we'll look into that, people.
So if you really want to go out and find some weird shit, Gore Palaces. Just search those two together. Slave rule 2. Serve every master or mistress as if your well-being depends on being pleasing. It does.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you're a slave, you don't want to piss off your master. So.
Slave rule 3. While a free person may not always be right, they are, by definition, never wrong.
Wow.
Slaves always have the last word in any disagreement the words, "Yes, master."
Wow.
This is the first time I'm reading these.
I think I'm getting a real I Dream of Jeannie vibe off of this. Maybe John Norman stole his whole rap from I Dream of Jeannie. She was always saying "Yes, master." That was her like. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there.
Okay.
I think Barbara Eden's a Gorian.
No, I can't say I've ever watched it.
You've never seen I Dream of Jeannie?
No.
It's not a great show. But
I watched Happy Days and yeah.
How about Bewitched? Do you ever watch that?
No.
Okay. Well, all right.
I didn't like that one. Slave
you
Rule.
hate witchcraft. I know that.
Yeah. Slave Rule 4. Jealousy and possessiveness have killed more slaves than disobedience.
Once again, it's because they enjoy being slaves.
Yeah. Okay. Slave Rule 5. Slaves do not use the first-person pronoun. There is not I, me, or mine in a slave's vocabulary.
Would they talk in the third person then?
Apparently.
They go, slave says this.
Yeah. I'd have to reference some of those books. I don't know if these people are keeping to the script here. But
I don't know.
Slave Rule 6. Perfection of service and submission is the goal. Mere excellence will be tolerated. Slave Rule 7. Your collar carries the honor of your owner. Your attitude can make is as light as a feather or heavy as a mountain. Slave Rule 8. If there are none requiring service, use the time to clean, cook, bake, practice serving techniques with your sisters, or learn about gore. Do not be idle.
Can a man be a slave on Gore?
I mean, according to the movie, there were men slaves.
Well, yeah, but I think they kind of abandoned the whole philosophy of Gore.
I think so too.
They just like, let's make a Conan ripoff, and that's basically what they did.
That's why I got when those novels get in. I'll do the deep dive. I'll give everybody.
I was at that resale shop. I saw some Gore novels. I'm gonna pick one up. I'm gonna see what's going on with that.
You should.
I'm intrigued.
Just thumb through it.
These rules are intriguing me.
Yeah, just thumb through it a little bit. Slaves possess nothing not given to them by their owner, including their name. What is given can be taken away. If you are entrusted to carry a name for an owner, or silks, or jewelry, remember that these can be removed as easily as they were given. And the last, Slave Rule 10. The merest whim of your owner is your highest law, and lawbreakers will be punished.
Wow. Sounds like a great place to live, Gore.
I mean, clearly these people enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, what I found out on my research was that John Norman, the writer of Gore, apparently, according to him, he's a very successful run of novels.
Yeah.
Like, he was selling in the millions. And in the 80s, he claims he got blackballed by the fantasy publishing industry, because apparently it's a very small, tight-knit group because of his views. Because apparently these books started out just as normal sword and sorcerer Conan ripoff stuff, and they just got increasingly weirder as they went along, as he delved deep into his own weird psyche, I guess. And so people are like, oh, no, I don't give a fuck. This stuff's, I mean, this shit's got to be pretty damn heinous that people are like, we're not publishing this, even though we're making money off of it.
Yeah.
So he blames feminists. He says feminists killed my fucking career. But then when the internet came out, he had a resurgence in popularity, as we've learned from these palaces.
Right.
So he's doing good.
I mean, he'd even intend on this being like a whole sex cult revolution type thing.
Well, does anybody? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm
hoping there's a sex cult around our podcast, but I don't think there is.
I'm pretty sure Elron, from what I've heard, was after just that. He wanted free money, basically, and he wanted to bang people.
What I have always heard about L. Ron Hubbard, I mean, this is probably total bullshit, but somebody bet him that he could. He's like, I bet I could come up with a religion. He's like, and the guy's like, no, you can't, and he just did it on a bet.
Well, the last accordance I heard, I started reading. I can't remember the guy's name, but I was reading some of his stuff, and he's a pretty wacky guy. but he used to play cards with other sci-fi writers, and never mind. But basically, he was just like, I need to make some fucking money, and someone was like, just make a goddamn religion then. And he's like, I'm gonna do it. And
when you think about it, there are correlations because he was a science fiction writer, wrote Battlefield Earth, and then he wrote Dianetics, and like he
wrote
conned a bunch of people out of shit.
That.
And so did John Norman. He just intended to write like just some fantasy novels, and now he's got. He's not making nowhere near the money Elrond made.
This was the penny per word days, so it's just they hammered him out because it's like that was the only way they were gonna get their money. Fucking just nuts.
Yeah. So basically, this whole gore world's really fucking weird. But you want to know what else is weird, Griff?
What's that?
I know what I'm about to say could be very dangerous, and I know I'm probably putting your health at risk, my health at risk, everybody we love's health at risk. But the truth's got to be told, Griff.
All right.
Have you heard of this thing called QAnon?
I've heard of them.
Well, the whole thing is there's this. The whole thing about QAnon is there's this vast conspiracy of pedophiles that are running the world. All our past 5 or 6 presidents have been these pedophiles.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg, pedophile.
Oh wow, he's in there.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. And you've heard Pizzagate, haven't you?
Of course.
Where Hillary Clinton was running a child sex slavery ring out of pizza.
Her and John Podesta.
Well, I am here to tell you, Griff, I am QAnon.
You're Q.
Q is no longer Anon. Q is me.
Wow.
And
I didn't know you worked for the government.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Well, I'm deep state, so you don't know.
Wow.
How do you think I get all this information? So, Griff, all of what I've been saying is true. Yes, there is a huge ring of pedophiles running our planet. But here's the thing, Griff. This is going to shocked me, and it will shock you.
I'm ready
I
to
learned
be
because you notice how I've been telling everyone that the only guy who's not involved is our president, Donald J. Trump.
Right, he's cleaning the swamp.
Yes, exactly. He's playing like he's an idiot because he's playing the long con on these people because he's really trying to dismantle it. But here's the rub, Griff. He's not doing it to help us. Donald Trump is a Gorian.
Whoa.
Donald Trump is from the planet Gore, Griff. And we are caught
from the planet Gore.
Yes. Well, you can't see it because it's on the other side of the sun. But
Counter-Earth.
Yes, Counter-Earth. He's not trying to help us. He is in a battle with a pedophile empire to take over our planet and enslave us, much like we've learned with these 10 slave rules.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Your mind is blown, isn't it?
My mind is being blown. Like every time I read one of your breadcrumbs, as you like to call them.
Yeah.
I just sit back. I get my chalkboard out and I just start connecting dots.
I hope so. That's the whole goal.
Yeah.
You don't have a chart with red yarn that's connecting things.
I had that, but my cat took it down. He likes yarn.
Goddamn cat.
So I had to do the chalkboard. But that's brilliant. It all makes sense. I
know it all makes sense. Well, here's the thing, Griff. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass.
No.
You want to know how I found out?
How did you find out?
It's not enough to just read off the internet. I had to experience. I didn't believe it. I was like, Donald Trump's going to save us.
Yeah.
And then I was given this bombshell, and I said, no, I don't believe it because there was a ex-Gorian told me this, and I was like, "You're a liar. There's no fucking way. Donald Trump is a traitor to anything."
Naturally, you like to see things for yourself.
Exactly. So he's like, "Well, you know what? There's going to be a meeting, a secret Gorian meeting. When you remember a couple months ago when Putin and Trump got together in Helsinki, Finland.
Yeah, Helsinki.
He's like, there's going to be a special Gorian meeting there,
dude. And I heard there's a homestone there." In Helsinki.
Wait. Don't get ahead of me. So he told me, I can get you in. And I'm like, okay. But he's like, look, there's a certain dress code. You have to.
Oh shit! Did you have to go in chains?
Well, no. Well, I was like, well, how do I fit in? How do I get in? And he's like, so first person I go to when I have any issues with like depraved sexual stuff, I go to Hair Metal Sean.
Right.
Because he's my connection in the yacht rock community. Because, as we all know, yacht rockers are the most depraved sex fiends on the planet.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And so I said, Hair Metal Sean, I'm going to this. First of all, he didn't believe me. He's like, you're full of shit.
Naturally.
And I'm like, I don't care. It's like, you will believe me when I come back. So it's like, what do I wear? And he just looked at me, and he just went, WWMW. And I went, what? And he's like, what would Manowar wear?
Oh, shit.
And then it just a light bulb went off in my head. So this is what I did, Griff. I went, got some black bikini briefs, which wasn't hard because I got those in my drawers already. Okay. And then I got some black chaps, like leather chaps.
Yeah. Got
a leather vest with a bedazzled like eagle on the back.
Oh, my goodness.
And I got a leather like policeman hat.
Yeah. Oh, that either says freedom or village people.
I say freedom.
Okay.
Or maybe not. If we're going, gore is nothing about freedom. But I said, this. You're wrong. It doesn't say freedom because I didn't want to look like a free person instead of going to a gore party. So, my connection got me. I flew out. I had to fly on my own dime in Helsinki, but I got there. He said, "There's going to be a password. I'm going to give you the password." So I go. I'm first of all, I'm picked up in a car.
Picked up. Okay.
They put a sack over my head.
That sounds about right.
I'm driven for like 2 hours.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm on the outskirts of Finland. I don't know where I'm at.
I mean, you don't know Finland that well to begin with, so.
No, I don't. Even though my grandmother is from Finland, I don't know. I didn't pick it up genetically. I still didn't know. So they stop the car, take the hood off. There's this weird like underground, like a door. Like, it's like an underground thing. Like not like a mine, but you're like going down underground.
Okay.
Literally.
That's where all weird sex stuff happens.
Exactly. Well, this is where it gets really weird.
Let's hear how weird it gets.
The password was password. Can you believe it?
Naturally.
So I say password. I'm allowed in.
Yeah.
And this is where it really gets weird, Griff. Open the door. First of all, it's called a gorgy. A gore orgy.
That makes sense.
Yes. So you name whatever bizarre sexual act you can think of, it was going on at this party.
I can imagine just men and women in collars everywhere, sprawled out, dicks flopping around.
Everything was flopping around. Gender fluid was everywhere. And I also noticed, and I was kind of happy. There was a lot of tubs of petroleum jelly there. They weren't using it for the prescribed way you should, but it was there, and I felt kind of proud.
It's all natural.
But I said, "Hey, man, we came up with that."
Yeah,
and we made some money off of that. I was happy about that.
Hey. I mean, you talked about having to go on your own dime. It sounds like petroleum jelly.
I did pay
your way there.
So. There's people like you wouldn't believe the people who were there. Like I was gonna say Tom Hanks, but he's a pedophile. He wasn't there.
He doesn't want to be there.
Because the one thing, there's some sick shit going on, but no kids.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, no, Trump's not involved with this, but I'm kind of like, well, at least they're not pedophiles.
Yeah.
But I'm still worried because I don't want to live on gore. I want to live on Earth.
Sure.
I don't want to be a slave.
Of course.
So I'm just checking shit out. I'm noticing.
I mean, based on those slave rules, it sounds pretty great, right? But go on.
Well, if you're not a slave, yeah. It sounds awesome. I noticed this character, this guy, he had like a leather jockstrap on.
Okay.
And some cowboy boots with spurs.
Oh, it sounds like cowboy.
And I thought it was for a second, but no. And he was wearing like a black executioner's hood. So I couldn't tell who he was. But you know how I can sometimes tap into the 9 powers of the ninja.
Yeah.
So I tapped into it.
Okay.
And I could tell by his body motion and his movement and the tightness of his buttocks. I could tell it was Vice President Mike Pence.
Mike Pence was there?
Yes.
Wow.
I was shocked.
He's a wholesome Christian man.
That's what I thought, but not when the
well, I mean, Christianity, doesn't it have like the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing?
He's not a Christian. He's a Gorian. Okay, he's been lying to us for years.
Shit.
So I'm mingling, I'm talking to people, I'm trying to because there's no way Trump would be involved with this sick shit. He's just too good a person.
Well, I mean, if Pence is already there, they can't be in the same room. That's national security.
Well, that's the thing. I noticed some people going into another room, like going down a hallway. They had candles, and I was like, I got to investigate.
Bag
this.
full of candles. Seagal was probably there. He carries
Griff,
candles around.
You're getting ahead of me. Just listen.
I'm sorry. I put these together so quickly.
I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
Because I followed them. I tapped in the 9 powers of the ninja.
Yeah.
So I was, if you really concentrate, you can turn invisible for a few seconds. You saw that in Enter the Ninja.
You do that to me all the time while we're recording, so I always edit it out, but I'm always like, Murray, where'd you fucking go?
I know. It's very strenuous. It's very hard on you, but when you need to do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
And so I was going from shadow to shadow. I was pulling out my ninja shit.
And you're in all black, so.
Yeah. Well, half black. I'm half naked and half black. And so there's this big dungeon door. They open up. They go in. I sneak in. I use my invisibility, so I get in there.
Of course.
Hide in the shadow. You know what's happening in this room, Griff?
What's happening in this room?
You remember our award-winning episode for New Barbarians?
Yeah.
You remember that contraption that they had built?
Yeah.
For that ritualistic butt rape?
Yeah.
Donald Trump is in that contraption being butt raped by Vladimir Putin.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if it's rape because it seems like they're both enjoying it.
Yeah.
And there's techno music going on. It's just like the movie.
Oh.
There's a crystal sword laying there where he split down his oversized suit.
Oh, man.
And he's going at it.
How long did you watch?
Not long. My stomach couldn't take it.
You couldn't take it.
Well, and speaking of, you're very perceptive. Steven Seagal was in the room holding the candles.
Oh, God.
He was just watching.
He's probably giving them jelly, reapplying.
Well, that's the thing. I was so repulsed by what was going on. I lost my train of thought, and my invisibility conked out. Right where you don't want to be.
Oh, shit.
So I disappear in front of everybody.
I bet Seagal might have noticed you, but it wouldn't matter because you could just walk away. He's a large man nowadays.
Yes, he doesn't know how to run.
He does. He trips over himself.
So what happened? So there's these big muscular eunuch guys, like every slave thing has.
Yeah.
I immediately grabbed some petroleum jelly, a huge vat, and I slathered my chest with it. So I blinded them with it because that's what it's for. It's chest sheen for men. And then one grabbed me, but thank God for petroleum jelly because I slipped out and I got away.
Man.
And I ran out there for my life. And I'm past the Steven Seagal's doing shit. And it's and I get out with my life. And then, so now, Griff, it's a fact. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are Gorians, and they're trying to take over our planet.
Wow. So we got a situation where we have Gorians fighting against pedophiles.
Right.
Wow.
Now, my mind was blown, and this is where it gets really weird.
Wow.
I start thinking, it seems like Donald Trump always trades up for a younger woman every few years, kind of like a Gorian.
Yeah.
I've never seen the inside thigh of Melania to see if she has a calf.
Oh, boy.
But I bet if we really look at some video, we get some zoom in things, we'll see it.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Just, we can definitely get, if you put that word out in the right places,
dark web.
You'll have I'll get you your invite to the dark web. But yeah, we could get 100 people. I mean, these are the same people that think that Hillary Clinton's wearing an ankle bracelet. They've got all the angles.
She is.
But, dude,
the shit I put out before isn't a lie. I'm just adding on to it.
Yeah, you got more information.
Well, but think about it, dude. This makes perfect sense.
I'm trying to think, but you got the big
picture. Why is Donald Trump into golden showers? Because, as we saw in this movie, Gore is a desert planet where water is in short supply. So urine is luxury, or is a thing they're really into because they don't have water.
Right.
So they drink urine, and that's what Trump does.
Wow.
Isn't it making sense now?
I don't know. Mine is blown.
I know. But here's where it gets really weird.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How much weirder
You
want to
know who are... Don't be worried, because we have a savior. It's not going to be Donald Trump. But you know who it's going to be, Griff?
Who?
And this is where it gets really weird.
Oh, my God.
Ironically, Al Gore is going to be our savior. Al Gore has been waging a war with Gore for the past 30 years.
Oh, my. I can't wait for that movie to come out.
Do you know
Al Gore's war.
Well, do you know
Gore.
what the true inconvenient truth was? Is that we're not... You know why we're ruining our environment, Griff? Because they're trying to terraform our planet into the desert planet of Gore. That's why the temperatures are going up. That's why the polar ice caps are melting. They're trying to change our planet so it's like Gore.
Fucking Christ. I mean, there's enough places they could go to already that are desert planets. Or desert, climates.
Well, Dune isn't near us. This is the nearest planet for them to live on. They can only go. The Homestones can only teleport you so far.
That's a good point. Homestones.
But Al Gore's on it. He's always been on it. He's a true American hero. That's why he was robbed of the election in 2000, because he was going to stop them.
Oh, oh my God! Just like the pedophiles try to stop Trump.
Exactly.
Trump won. Oh my God!
So what I'm saying is, right now we're trapped in a war between the pedophile empire and Gore. Both horrible options.
Yeah. So
what I'm saying is, we need to get behind Al Gore. We need to run Al Gore for president again.
Fuck. All right.
Now, and I also want to tell everyone who's listening, I've been peppering all of our episodes with these little, subliminal messages.
Yeah.
So you might need to go back and listen to all of them 4 or 5 times more until it sinks in. And it's a shame that Life Force is our least popular episode, because that one is chock full of messages letting you know what's really going on, what they're trying to keep from you, the truth about Gore and the pedophile empire.
Man. Well, I'm blown away. Can we cut to this trailer so I can just collect myself?
Yeah, you might have to.
Okay.
We might have to take a break, because I'm exhausted. I don't know what's going to happen to us. All I know is, people who are listening, if we don't have an episode next week, we've been captured, and I want you to rise up and riot. And by the way, I also want to say, because before we get off we start talking about the Gore movie, everyone who's listening to this, who knows what I'm telling is the truth, whatever you do, come November, do not vote. Why? Because the Goreans are going to coat every voting machine with a sterilization coat. If you touch it, man or woman, you're going to be sterilized.
Wow.
So stay home.
That's devious.
If you're believing what I'm saying, and you are, because you believe in the truth, stay home. Do not vote.
It's a lot of truth. A lot of truth. Thank you for your service, Q.
You're welcome.
And
you're welcome, America.
And
you're not welcome, Gore.
Let's get to this trailer.
Yeah, let's talk about this boring ass movie. Let's do it, Gore.
It was a time of tyranny and savage slavery, when an evil priest ruled over all.
I want them all captured, killed.
It was a world desperately in need of a hero. And through the powers of a mystical ring, a college professor is transported through time.
Hold it! I'll show you my driver's license.
See? It's a mistake.
And finds himself thrust into the legendary world of Gore. Now, he must learn the ways of war. Journey across a vast wilderness and join the battle to overthrow the corrupt king.
I am the one who controls your destiny.
For only his victory can save their world. Urbano Barberini, Rebecca Ferrati, Jack Palance, Paul L. Smith, and Oliver Reed as Sarm. From science fiction author John Norman's best-selling series comes Gore.
Pida Cine Video, la videocinta original en todas las tiendas
All
de
right,
video del
sweet
país.
trailer. Again, didn't watch it, but we all love it. It's great. It really builds up this movie, I bet.
Yeah.
So let's just get right into this. We've given this so much backstory already. We got all these new facts to go into this whole episode with. We're feeling good. So we're gonna see our hero.
You can call him that.
Yeah, exactly. If you can call him a hero, he's pretty much the worst character we've covered yet.
Let's put it this way: he's a cuck. He's a soy boy. He's whatever internet buzzword you want to use for a loser. He's as samurai cop Joe Marshall would say, a dweeb.
Oh, dweeb. So he's a college professor, and that's where we join him, and he's giving his little speech to his class. He's got this ring that he's preaching about. He's like, this ring comes from Counter-Earth planet of Gore. And the kids are just, and I say kids, but they're like all 40-year-olds.
Yeah, it's all like middle-aged actors.
Yeah. And apparently he's hooking up with one of the girls in the class, and, he dismisses the class, and they're all like, thank fucking God.
Did we mention this is also an Italian movie, so everybody's dubbed?
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, only people who aren't dubbed are the Oliver Reed, the villain.
Okay. So apparently he's hooking up with one of the kids, because, of course, that's all
you could do that
professors.
back in the 80s. You could sleep with your students.
Well, it's college.
Yeah, but still, it's not.
So also, she was like 40.
It's still inappropriate.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, now you're getting in. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I don't give a shit. I mean,
interesting.
So he's got this whole trip planned out to go to the cabin with his lady. I don't remember her name. Let's call her Bev.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bev's like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's boring. I can't shop or go to a concert out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, and he's just like, I'll be there. And she's like, you're not enough.
And then this is where swinging Dick Norman shows up in his Jeep.
The fucking Chad.
And he's like, hey, cuck, I'm taking your girl.
Yep.
And she's all into it. She's like, ooh. And she jumps in his fucking Snake Eater Jeep.
Yep, Snake Eater Jeep.
And he's like, bye, loser.
And, of course, like, Tarl. God, what a...
Tarl. Every time I heard that name, I kept thinking of Walking Dead. Carl! And I was like, Tarl.
Tarl.
Tarl Cabot.
I love that his name was Tarl Cabot. So it's like, okay, so he went for Carl Tabbitt, but at one point he swapped the T and the C around. I was like, I like it. More sci-fi fantasy like.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
So Tarl Cabot, he drives off by himself. He's broken his fish rod on accident. He's a dweeb. And
he's driving this rainstorm.
Yep, and it just rains piling down, and of course he veers off road. His ring starts doing some crazy shit. He crashes into a tree. Camera comes from behind, goes around to the driver's side. He's gone. Where do we catch up with him?
I'm gonna guess Gore.
Yeah, you'd be right.
So like I didn't understand. Like, so he's wore this ring his whole life, and it never teleported him.
Yeah.
Was it the lightning strike that made him go?
Yeah, I fucking don't know.
Was it like he was like in the right place at the right time?
Right. If it was like a Back to the Future type thing where he hit the gigawatt amount and that powered the ring. He was
not going 88, whatever.
Yeah, but it wasn't about. Oh yeah, I guess it was about 88. I'm sure
Metal Sean will correct us whatever speed you're supposed to go to time travel.
Yeah, all I know is that the electricity had to be involved. So maybe he was going. Maybe they. Fuck.
I don't know. It was a really lame, lazy way of getting him to Gore.
Yeah, I mean, this was. So he's in Gore. Okay, he's in these
like a
desert mountains.
Yeah, it's a desert planet,
and he's watching like this town get raided.
Yeah, they're pillaging, raiding, raping.
And, there's scantily clad women everywhere. Like I mentioned last week, like this is Tina Belcher's, fantasy novel that she would write.
Yeah, well, there are some horses, too. So
horses, butts everywhere. Tarl's just, like, staring at all the women.
Like that. And then we also see our villain, played by Oliver Reed, Sarm.
Sarm.
He's like sitting on his horse, looking upon it all with his like son, and and he looks like the dude from the cover of that Molly Hatchet album. Like he's wearing that sweet ass like helmet.
Yeah, and he's got that beautiful
fake looking skull
chest
thing.
piece. Yeah, that was
awesome. They couldn't just get a real animal skull. They had to have some cheap paper mache skull.
Is it just the Italian films where this like all the props look really lame?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, because the swords and everything, they just look like cardboard, and
and they were like really giant too. They were like they were like 4 inches thick.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. So, like the raid, starts getting out of hand. They're like they get the homestone, and they're like trying to ride off with it.
Well, we see this like hot ass barbarian babe kicking ass, like fucking everybody up.
She was awesome.
And then this dude looked like Kenny Rogers next to her, and he's fucking some shit up. And then this guy, I think, was he her brother? I just called him Mullet. I don't remember what his name was. He's had a mullet.
Yeah, the mullet guy. I don't know his name either. I think mullet's gonna work.
I thought he was like her brother. I don't know. I don't care. So they're kicking ass. They're trying to protect this like glob. Like it wasn't. I don't know. It looked like a piece of shit. It was like a plastic piece of shit. And it was like that's the homestone.
It was one of those Himalayan lamp rocks.
I guess. I don't know what that is, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh, that's why your life's imbalanced.
No, it's not.
You got to get one of those Himalayan rock salt lamps.
So, as try as they might, Sarm still gets the rock, and he's like, and he just takes off. And then Tarl's still out in the desert, because I remember Talina, who's the sexy barbarian woman.
Yeah, she escapes.
She like goes to. I thought she goes to chase after them.
Yeah, she's trying to get after
like a total fucking shithead. Tarl jumps out, goes, "Hey there," and like scares her fucking horse. She falls off the horse.
Yep.
And then
they come and surround them.
What? Oh, right. And then somehow Tarl stumbles into Sarm's like groove.
Yeah.
And he somehow, I still haven't figured out, he somehow kills Sarm's son.
Right. It was a situation where like somebody goes after Tarl. He's in his like professor outfit, so he's got his dockers pulled up past his belly button, shirt tucked in.
Got the like jacket with the patches on the elbows.
He's got that. He's flipped that over his shoulder because it's hot as shit out.
Right.
But he's big door glasses and the calculator watch.
Right.
So that won't come into play ever.
No.
So the one guy charges at him on the horse, and Tarl like makes some kind of dweeby noise, and the horse just like flips over. So I was like, is the ring doing this? Like, how is this happening?
I don't know.
So the guy like breaks his neck after falling off the horse, and he walks over and like grabs his sword for reasons, and then this other guy charges at him, like throws him in a net, and then like tries to attack him, and Tarl ends up slaying him. Just fucking absolutely murders the guy. Again,
right.
How? He's confused.
It reminded me of Return of the Jedi, where Han Solo is like blind, but when they're like at that pit in the desert, and he's like still fucking everybody up, but it's like it's accidental. It's like a comical thing. But I don't think this was comical. I don't know how he was doing it, but he was beating everybody.
So he ends up killing Sarm's son in that altercation there, and then just when things are looking bad, because this one guy, and I love this moment, draws a bow. He's 5 feet away from Tarl, and he draws a bow, and it's just about to put an arrow between Tarl's eyes. It's saving us from having to watch the rest of this movie.
Right.
And they've got some mountains above them, and all the townsfolk from that town that just was raided, they come out, and they just start pelting rocks at the army, the raiders, and fuck them up. Tarl gets away.
Sarm takes off with the homestone, goes fucks off to wherever he's from. Tarl gets knocked out, though.
Yeah, that's right.
So when he comes to, he's covered in petroleum jelly.
Yeah, they smothered him.
He's just naked with a loincloth.
Yeah, they took him out of his work clothes. And it's Talina, our Xena princess of this movie.
Right.
Mullet and old guy.
Yeah. And they're like, they also took her dad, too. They kidnapped him. I think his name was like Marcellius or something like that.
Sure, Marcellius.
And he looked like Kenny Rogers, so I'm going to call him Kenny.
I like it.
And so I don't know why they kidnapped him, but they took him.
Right.
And so they're like, we have to go get my father.
Right.
He's like, I'm a nerd. I can't do anything.
Exactly. And so this is where they try to give us some kind of backstory on the ring, why he's there, and it's just like, oh, You have the ring. You've been sent to us. You're a warrior.
And then he's like, I'm not a warrior. Here, take my ring. Like,
yeah.
He's a total bitch. He's just like, he doesn't want to do anything.
And at one point, he's like, did Norman put you guys up to this? Get the call out there? John Norman? Norman?
I did not pick up on that. It's pretty clever.
Norman. So, for some reason, he buys in. He's like, okay, I'm a warrior. And that's... we get our training montage.
Yeah, it was...
And it's the boringest thing ever.
Yeah, and he learns how to shoot an arrow at least. That's about all.
It takes him, of course, 5 hours to become better than Mullet and Xena. Like, they're always like, we can't win this fight without Tarl to protect us. It's like, Tarl's a fucking loser.
I know. I'm like, why are they... Like, she's totally into him. I'm like, why? He's a total drip.
And I also like that even in his loincloth, he doesn't need to wear his glasses anymore.
Of course not, yeah.
But he keeps his watch on.
Well, I wonder why that.
I wonder why that is. So
they're like, all right, it's time. You're ready now. 3 days. You're an expert swordsman, expert bow and arrow shooter, archer, I think's the word.
Yeah. We need to get to some mountains, and we're going to take this path to get there.
But we'd have no idea where he is located, but we're just going to walk out in the desert.
Yeah.
So they walk out in the desert, and then they come to this city, right?
Well, they have, like, their little camp.
Oh, that's right.
And Talina's, like, trying to get in his pants. She's like, into his loincloth.
I have no idea why.
No idea why.
I guess, she's just got her brother and this other guy. So, like, he's an old guy. So I guess he's the only suitable guy there. So that's the only reason I could think.
Yeah. So she's, like, flirting with him. Like, do you have a woman in your world? And he's like, well, there is this girl. The girl that totally...
Bev. Girl totally...
dissed him earlier. So, he's supposed to be keeping watch that night.
But like classic Tarl, he falls asleep.
He's like 4 miles out, asleep. And then, of course, some bandits come by. And
Gorian Crips come in, and they just, like, bum rush them, steal all their shit.
They don't even do it at night. They do it during the day.
Right? Well, Tarl's such a drip, they feel like they can do it. They're emboldened to do it.
Exactly. They have as open window as they want.
And you know what? He didn't do shit.
So
he said, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you know what he is? He's the Urkel of gore. It's like, did I do that? Like, I mean, it was basically...
He doesn't even have...
And it didn't help that his dubbed voice sounded like Hermie, the gay elf from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Shit, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I want to be a dentist. And he said that at one time.
So, they're all like, fucking Tarl, why are you so useless?
And he's like, I don't know. Did I do that? And they're like, oh, Tarl. And then they're all buddies with him again. Yeah. I'd be like, kill this guy.
Yeah. They scold him. Tarl doesn't even, like, acknowledge their scolding. He's just like, meh, whatever.
Sorry, hey, no big deal. I fell asleep.
They're like,
we have no food or water or money. Whatever.
Yeah. So they're like, now we have to go to this city.
Right.
And as they're walking up there, they see, like, some slavers, coming by with their slaves. So they're like, shit, you know what? In order to get in the city, we're going to have to make it look like Talina's our slave because, women are slaves. They need to be in a collar in this city.
Right.
They didn't quite go that far. Like, I don't think any women are in a collar or men.
No, I think coming up there is a woman in a collar. But what they do, they rip off the sleeves off of
Tarl. Give us your sleeves.
And he shows off his really weak, pathetic arms.
Yeah.
And then they rub dirt all on Talina, and they're like, you're a slave. Yes, they do that.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of creepy.
The old guy does it.
Yeah.
He starts, like, rubbing up her ass with dirt.
All right.
Like, that's the only place, too. They're just like,
So they go into this city, stumble into this bar.
Tarl's, like, just gawking at everybody, like, because it's just a bunch of, like, half-nude women walking around in, chains and stuff, and he's just gawking, and...
So, they go into the bar, and then there's, like, this, like, solid gold dance routine breaks out.
Yeah.
Like, this choreographed dance routine, totally out of place in the movie, but I guess there's no story, so they have to fill it with something. They go, look, we got to fill 90 minutes.
Right.
So, like, all right, dance routine.
Tarl's just got his jaw dropped. Like,
Talina's a little jealous.
She's so jealous.
And I don't know why.
No idea.
And, like, Talina, you could do better. You're hot, all right? Come on. So then we meet. I don't know what the character's name. I'm calling him Bluto because he actually was the actor who played Bluto in the Popeye movie from the early '80s. Mm-hmm. So he's like this, like I don't know what, like mercenary guy, and he's like, I can get you to Sarm. I have this map here, and they're like, well, okay, gee, thanks. He's like, well, I want your woman. I'm like, oh, sorry, that's not negotiable.
Right.
And they're like, well, how about this? I'll have my woman, who I believe is wearing a collar. He's like, I'll have her fight your woman.
Yep.
And if your woman wins, you get the map. If she loses, I get her. And they're like, oh, that's okay. That sounds like
a good deal. Well, they found out that they noticed that she wasn't wearing like real chains, so he's like, you're not leaving here without her fighting. Because they just had the cloth, wrapped around her wrist. So he's like, you're fucking not leaving here until your girl fights my girl. And so, they
so what ensues is probably, sadly, the best fight of the whole movie, this cat fight, where these chicks are fighting.
Tarl's jerking off under the table.
Well, how can you blame him? Because we didn't point out, Talina has the sexiest, gigantic 80s hair.
Yeah.
Like every chick had it in the 80s. Super hot. Oh, I forgot to point out that Talina is played by June 1986 Playmate of the Month, Rebecca Ferrati. So she's a hot chick. And speaking of big hair and hot chicks,
Griff,
boy,
we
need a little hair metal hate. We haven't had it in a few weeks.
Okay.
So I was scouring the internet, meaning I just came up with it 5 minutes before we did the show.
Sounds about
right.
And
I was like, what could fit in with the gore movie we're talking about? And all I could think of was Motley Crue's Looks to Kill. This is the era of Motley Crue, the early era where they were like the fake Satanists, where like they were wearing like Road Warrior like kind of outfits, and like, who are you fooling? You guys aren't for the real fucking deal,
right?
So let's roll it, Griff. Start out. We got some women. They look like I don't see any kefs.
They really do.
They're just like scared. Oh shit! Motley Crue just showed up. They're looking evil. They got torches. These women are like, no, don't rape us. And they're like, hey, babe, I got a torch.
Dude, they've got better props than this than all of
They
gore.
actually do. That's the sad part. So they're chasing the women with their torches.
Okay.
And they're like, you're going to be our slaves. Because,
oh, boy. They're pulling off the chains a lot better, too.
This video is 10 times better than gore. So they pen the women in because as they learn from gore, that's where women belong. They're like, we're penning you in. Time to rock out.
What the hell?
So they just start rocking out.
Why did they pen the women?
Well, you'll see. Because it's coming up.
Okay.
There's rocking out. I'm sorry, guys. They're just rocking out. We can't really anything to say.
They wear a lot of makeup.
Well, yeah, this was, And then the girls, they call out for a savior. They're like, please, can someone save us?
Oh, God.
And then, God damn it, stop rocking out. Get to the fucking...
Murray, you can't help but notice how hard they're rocking, right?
They're rocking hard, but I want more story. It doesn't work well.
I want more story out of my rock.
Yes. Well, when you're discussing it on the internet, you want a little more story.
Motley Crue is all
I can
about
only say
the
the Rockin' any more times.
I like his little bell there.
Yeah.
How often do they use that bell?
Well, there's a bell in the song, so I think just that one time.
I want to know all
So
about
they're
that
like,
bell.
all right, man, we're going to do something to these women now. We're ready.
Geez.
We're ready to do stuff.
Okay.
Do PG-rated stuff. This is MTV, after all. And then they're rocking again. God damn. I didn't think this video was this long.
You should have known.
I didn't watch it. And then they're like, hey, look at my guitar. That's like my dick. God. And then,
oh, shit.
The savior comes.
Some Wizard of Oz shit.
Wind starts blowing. Tumbleweeds. Rag falls in a girl's face.
That's a band tee.
Wall falls down, and then we have Xena Warrior Princess comes to rescue the women. Yes!
What?
So she's got some giant sexy hair. She shoots a crossbow right at Mick Mars' guitar. She does a cat thing with him. What's that called? A hiss. She hisses at him. She throws the fucking torch at him. She frees the women. Yeah! Girl power.
What? So Motley Crue's the bad guys?
Yes. Well, they were going to rape these women. And then she pulls out this. She's got her hand crossbow. Oh,
what the
pentagram to shut off Tommy Lee's Tommy Lee's drum, and it hit her shield. And now Vince Neil's like, "I'm going to get you, girl." So he starts chasing her. She's playing a cat and mouse game. She knows what she's doing. She's like, "Here, let me lead you into this trap." He's like, "I'm going to get you." She runs away from him.
Oh, my goodness.
He's like, wow, man. She runs in this room with spikes and fog.
This is starting to look like a set for American Gladiators.
And it still looks way better than the Gore sets.
Yes,
and then they're like, they got her pinned down. And she's kind of digging it. I don't know what's going on there.
Jesus, this is weird.
And then she gets away. And then here it goes. She leaps like a cat.
What?
Right up on the top of a wall. And then they look scary and kind of.
It looks like
Nikki Sixx looks kind of bored.
How could you be bored with all this weird shit? Who decided this is what they wanted to do?
I don't know, but this is a fucking great video, though. And then they surround the woman. They put their fists up in the air, and they go, "You're all right." What? And then she disappears. And then there's a burning pentagram. Hail Satan.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what it means either, but I did this for Hair Metal Sean, okay?
What the fuck?
And then that's it.
I want him to explain to me what just happened there, because that was a fuckfest of weird.
I enjoyed that 10 times more than Gore.
Well, it's also 10 times shorter, so...
Yeah, that's true.
I believe that'd be a good reason to enjoy it.
So let's get back to it and get it over with, shall we?
Yeah, so we had women fighting. We had our Xena, our Tarla...
Talina.
Right? Talina. I keep calling her Tarla.
Because
it's Tarl.
Probably because he's more of a woman than she is. I mean, she's more badass. I'd rather have Talina at my back than Tarl.
Yeah, there should have been a lot more of her fighting than Tarl doing Tarl things.
Yeah.
I like that even halfway through the movie they stopped calling him Tarl and started calling him Cabot.
That's true.
So that could have been confusing. So they're like, well...
Talina, she wins the fight.
Yeah. And Bluto is just like, yeah, fucking get out of here then.
And they're like, hey, no, you said you were gonna give us this map that was it was on like a rag.
The one time Tarl amps up and is like, fuck you, honor your side of the deal.
I thought he pussied out.
No, he's the one who gets up. Mullet Man was like, whoa, where do you think you're doing, Tarl? And Tarl just gets up there and is like, hey, you promised me a map. And the guy was just like, what? Fuck you, I did. So they pull him out of there because Tarl is about to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, but then I think Tarl's like, well, I didn't want the map anyway. And then he grabs his backpack, and it seems like he's a little heavier.
Well, they jet him outside because they're like, you need to cool off. And that's when Mullet Man tries to lift up his bag. He's like, man, I don't remember this being so heavy. This is like a sack that's as tall as him. And big reveal? You want to give the big reveal?
Midget version of Ric Flair jumps out and goes, woo! You didn't say woo, but that would have been cool. But
he said woo.
It looks like a little midget version of Ric Flair. And he's like, I can take you where you need to go. And I don't know. I always assume midgets all have that voice. But I've never heard a midget with that voice outside of like a movie. So I apologize to all midgets.
They did give him that voice, though. And they dubbed it over. So it was like they chose not to use like a real person's voice. They were like, let's...
That's the go-to movie midget voice, I guess. They just had,
That's rough. So they're completely charmed by little Ric Flair.
He's adorable.
He is adorable.
Styling his profile.
He's got that mullet. He's like, I can get you there. Just like that. I'm glad I managed to work that in.
He's like, I got some $400 gators that's worth everything you make in a year. Woo! Take you to Space Mountain. That's what he's going to take him. He's going to take him to Garden Mountain.
What? Oh man! Mountain. What is this line about Space Mountain? Why go to Space Mountain when you can get on my Space Mountain or something like that? You don't need to go to Disney World to see Space Mountain.
Take a ride on Space Mountain.
To take a ride on. Oh my god!
And he also said, as long as you're 18 years or older.
Yeah,
remember that.
That was very. He makes it very clear.
Ric Flair's not a part of the pedophile empire.
He's not into it. So. Of course, little Ric Flair's just throwing out great one-liners for the rest of the movie. So finally, we got somebody with character. But they're just going to be wandering back into the desert again because that's how this movie's paced. It's like weird interaction, wander, weird interaction, wander. So they're wandering again. They come across more slavers, so it's like, well, we must be getting close to where we're trying to get.
Yeah, I noticed. Did you notice that we live in a culture where they know how to make steel into swords. I mean, they really don't because all the swords are made out of cardboard in the movie. But let's just say, for argument, they make swords. They didn't figure out how to make wheels yet because they didn't have wheels on these cars. They're like dragging these like carts.
Were they?
Yes. That's why all that dust was kicking up.
Shit, I didn't even notice.
So there these, for some reason, there are these slavers dragging these like they're like made out of like bamboo. It looked like these like carts with no wheels, and they're just dragging. And they're empty, and they're dragging them for some reason. So they're like, hey. Let's take advantage of these slaves and hitch a ride on these carts. Yeah. So they jump in these carts and get pulled for like 100 feet.
There was that hilarious moment where Tarl, because we got to bring this up, his watch goes off. Because anytime they're hiding, because at first they were hiding and letting the slavers go by. And you remember they were hiding behind those rocks. And of course, beep, 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 beep. It's time to take your
as usual,
meds.
Tarl fucks everything up.
Yeah.
He's an inept shithead.
So they hide behind the rocks. Like a guard comes over, and the guards just wear like a helmet and like a little piece over their junk.
Codpiece.
A little codpiece. Thank you. Oh, and a sword at their waist, of course. So the guard comes over, and they hide. They beat the shit out of him. And then they put on a helmet, and Tarl pops up and goes, hey, guys, I'm just going to take a quick piss. Everything's okay over here. And everyone's just like, oh, shit, seems about right. And they go back on. They jump in the back of that weird cart.
Yeah, and, like, that's like a great scene. Who the fuck like, I got this idea for a scene. They get dragged by a cart for 100 feet.
And nobody notices.
Yeah, well.
Cart suddenly becomes 500 pounds heavier because, 5 people and little Ric Flair just jumped in it.
Right. And they're just basically, even though we're supposed to be rooting for the guys, they're like basically taking advantage of slaves. Yeah. They're like, hey, let's get a free ride from these slaves. So they get off, and then they bump into Bluto again. He just pops up. And he's like, I want your woman. And so he puts like a knife or something to Talina's like throat. And this is where the calculator watch comes in again, because Tarl shines a light off his calculator watch into like Bluto's eyes.
Oh,
and Bluto's like, and then Talina like stabs him in the gut. And he's like, I'm dead. And he falls over and dies.
Man, I'm glad you remember that part, because
that was the only action in the fucking movie.
There's so much of this movie that just slips right by you. It's just they slipped in that convoy.
In between, we get, it's not even important, but there's little interludes where we see Sarm, and he's just like, I've got another homestone. I will take over the world, kind of shit.
Really, the villain they didn't build up the villain at all.
I mean, apparently Oliver Reed had like some back taxes he had to pay off. Because I don't know why he's slumming in this shit movie, but...
So they eventually they get to this.
They get to the back door.
Back door.
Of Sarm's
that little Ric Flair, and he's like, "This isn't the first back door I've been in today."
Zing!
Fucking little Ric Flair, he's killing it. Got that bandana. Got that big flowing jacket like Ric Flair always had.
He was like strutting and shit.
He was so fantastic. Everyone's drab just brown, and then you got little Ric Flair just killing it.
Got that. Yeah. He's got the rhinestone robe on. Yeah.
It's hard. They go into like this cave system, and it's really hard for them to sneak around with all those rhinestones, though, because it's just shimmering off the torches and all that.
Why didn't they use that instead of the calculator watch? I don't know. That would really blinded the fuck.
Yeah, really. I think it's because he hides, Yeah. I mean, he was a heel, though.
Right.
So they're in there in these caves. There's like women tied up and shit. There's all kinds of weird stuff happening in these caves.
Yeah, they never really explained why they're women tied up.
They're like, no one knows about this back door. And then there's, like, guards that come through, and as they're, like, trying to hide from the guards, like, these lepers come out and start groping on them, like, oh, I haven't been touched in years, fuck me. And Tarl's like, yeah, I want to hit that. And Talina's.
And then, well, they're like, okay, we have some action, there's some lepers, and then they just go, okay, let's just walk away from these people.
That's it. Walk away. Hey, conflict. Also, no, not really. We're just going to go.
This time killer.
So
they find the throne room of Sarm. I don't fucking remember anymore.
Dude.
And they're like we got to, or do they, I don't, they find her dad, don't they? I don't fucking remember. This movie's awful.
Yeah, let's see. Little Ric Flair, of course, is just like starts telling about, he wants to part ways. He doesn't want to be involved anymore. After the lepers come out, he's like, fuck this. Lepers aren't my game. So he's like, I told you I'd get you in. I never told you, I'd lead you to the water. I never told you I would teach how to drink, teach how to fish. I don't know. Ric Flair was speaking in riddles at this point.
Yes.
So they get captured again.
Yeah.
Cabot gets away, I believe.
Because they're the most inept gang of people I've ever seen.
So stupid.
So they get captured, and then they have like an orgy. They have another dance routine.
Yeah, they're
heavy into dance routines in Gore.
Cabot basically just meets up with Bluta. Or this isn't Bluta anymore.
Bluta's
this is
dead.
Yeah,
Sarm.
Bluta's dead. So he meets up with Sarm, and Sarm's just like, "Oh shit, you're from Earth. Welcome to Counter Earth. Welcome to Gore. Have you seen any asses today? I noticed you're gawking."
And he's
at
like, "By the way, I go both ways." And he fondles a boy and a girl.
Yeah, he's like, "Let's go into my sex chamber." And the guy's just being really nice, just very gentlemanly.
Like, see my homestone?
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh shit, that's the homestone I need."
Right, and Tarl's trying to explain it to him, like, "Look, I want to get back home. I'm not too. You got a lot of cool things here."
Did you notice that Sarm automatically fell in love? Like, everyone falls in love with Tarl immediately, and he's such a fucking loser.
Yeah,
he's like, "I want you to rule with me." It's like
they just love Earthlings.
I guess.
Maybe to them it's just like a virgin. It's like everybody on that planet.
I've had everything but an Earthling.
I like that's probably what's happening here.
I don't know. I think we thought about it more than the screenwriters thought about it.
So, like you were mentioning, he's walking through, he's making out with dudes. Sarm is, he's making out with dudes, making out with ladies, slapping asses, rubbing dicks. He's just enjoying his kingdom. Yes. King Priest is a big thing in the novel series.
Yeah.
They explain it as King Priests don't really fuck around with humans, but obviously in this movie they threw that little bit of information aside because all he's doing is messing with humans. Like, these are supposed to be
we didn't have the budget for anything but humans. So.
Yeah. Like, they explained it as he was a priest, then he became a king priest. But, again, from what I read, these guys are, like, demigods and supposed to, like, live in the sky
I don't think anyone knew anything about Gore. They just knew it was, like, somebody saw, like, the cover, like, and it had, like, the classic barbarian things. Like, we're going to make a movie of Gore, get the rights, and then they just did it.
So, he's trying to win over Cabot. He's like, "Cab, here's what I'm going to do for you, bud." Just takes the cock ring right off his own dick and hands it to Cab. And is like, "Any lady you want, you can use my cock ring."
I missed that part.
Yeah, it was weird.
Cock ring?
Yeah.
I missed that.
A lot of butts and
I
a lot
mostly
of
got the censored version because there was no nudity in my version.
Yeah. I got
a lot of thonged butts, though.
Yeah. I had to see Sarm's dick, so I'm going to make sure everyone knows about it.
Okay.
So, gives him the cock rings, like, take any lady. Carl picks out a lady. She's got, like, the crimped hair. It's just kind of frizzy and weird.
Yeah, another classic 80s kind of hair look.
And he starts interrogating the girl because they go to a quiet corner. Everyone's still around watching them, but they go to, like, a little quiet corner. And, he starts interrogating her and asking her, like, where do they keep the homestones? And she's like, "Look, I'm a slave. All I want to do is bang you." And
she didn't end that sentence with "yes, master," though.
Oh shit!
She broke one of the rules.
Breaking slave rules.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
So he just keeps pushing it. She's like, "I can only satisfy you. I know not of homestones."
Because even she is in love with Tarl.
Yeah.
Even though the guy can't get laid in a whorehouse on Earth, everybody, including men, want to fuck Tarl on Gore.
Everybody. So
I guess they love calculator watches.
They
man.
really do.
That's like a cool thing on Gore. It's like kind of
right. So they eventually lead us into he throws the lady aside. Sarm's like, "Cap, come over here, dude. I want you to see this."
Well, he's like, "I want to." It wasn't like, "I want to initiate you into our world."
Yes.
And here we're going to give you a slave.
Yeah.
And so this slave comes out with a hood on, and of course we all know it's fucking Talina.
Yep.
So he pulls it off. And they're like, "All right, we got to brand the kef into her thigh."
Yeah, they brand one lady, and then they're like, "All right, now this is yours to brand."
Yeah, your turn.
So this is where we get the first ass kicking, because of course he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in. I'm ready for this." Even though a minute ago he's like, "I want to get out of here." Now he's like, "I'm in."
Well, also it's like, I just met you. I want to make you my right hand man. Like you came in here to steal my homestone.
Yeah.
Now we're best friends. Here.
So, of course, now he's got this, what do they call those things? Not a
branding iron?
Branding iron, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's hot as shit, and he gets that. And this is probably the only real prop in the movie. It looked like it was really made of iron and all that good stuff.
I don't think it was, but...
Okay. Yeah. And he delivers a blow right to a guy.
Right to the bread basket.
Yeah, oh, boy. And they just start kicking ass. They're surrounded by people, but their awesome fighting techniques just wow them. So everyone's just standing back like, oh, shit. Shit's going down. All hell breaks loose at this point. Like, they're running all over the place. It's like a Scooby-Doo moment where it's like the music starts up. Boop, boop, Scooby, boop, boop, Scooby. Sarm's like running down a hallway.
Going into one, like, doorway, come out the other one.
Exactly.
And, so, Talina's the only one kicking ass. She's fucking shit up with a sword. So Tarl's like, I gotta get the homestone.
Yeah.
So somehow he does, I don't know, he stumbles onto it, because that's all he does in this movie, stumble onto shit. Him and Mullet find the room. For some reason, it's guarded with flames. Like flames shoot up.
Yeah.
But all you got to do is wait till the flames go down, and then you can walk in the room.
One flame shoots up, and then one little thing falls over too.
Yeah.
Worst props ever. And even Treasure of the Four Crown had better props.
Yeah, you could see the strings holding out the props in Treasure of the Four Crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get the homestone. They're like, let's get the fuck out of here. So they get outside, and they get captured again, don't they? They
get captured again, and I don't know what is happening at this point. Like,
I could have swore they have this outdoor set. Have you ever seen Beastmaster?
No.
The set, I swear it's the same set from Beastmaster. Because there's this set where there's this fire pit right in front of it. It's like they're outdoor. It's kind of like a pyramid type thing they're on.
Right.
And they throw the first girl that gets branded into the fire pit.
Yep.
And then they're going to throw Talina, right? Or I think that maybe her or dad. I don't fucking remember. Don't care.
Yeah.
By the way, somehow in this, Mullet gets killed. But who gives a shit? He's barely a character. But Mullet gets killed.
Oh, yeah. Mullet did die.
Yeah.
Well, they were having a terrible fight in the caves.
Right.
Like, they did the overhead shot of them sword fighting. Tarl drops his sword because Tarl would drop his sword.
Of course Tarl will be the reason Mullet gets killed.
So Mullet throws him his sword.
He's like, you're better than me. Take my sword.
A man who lives by the sword is like, hey, you remember yesterday when we taught you how to use a sword in 10 minutes?
You know what? He died by the sword.
Yeah, he did. So that's how he ended up going.
Yeah, well, who cares? He was a meaningless character.
Cares? So
Talina's about. So he didn't give a shit that the first slave girl got incinerated in this fire pit. But Talina, he's like, hey, I might have a shot with her. So Tarl whips out the old bow and arrow. Sarm's like, I'm gonna throw her in this fire pit.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're not. And for the first time in the movie, Tarl does something right, and he hits Sarm right in the throat with the arrow. Goes right through his throat.
That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that.
Yeah.
Maybe they actually really shot Oliver Reed in the throat. I don't know.
Maybe.
And so he falls in the fire pit, and everyone's like, hey, whatever, you're free. Do whatever you want.
So they do cut to, all the hometown being restored. And
they got their homestone back, so they're all ready to go.
Everyone's happy. There's, a nice big pond out front with a bunch of women cleaning, bathing each other.
Yeah, and then there's this mysterious figure lurking in the background.
Yeah.
Who could it be? Why, it's Jack Palance. And who, by the way, is top billed in this movie. He's in it for 2 fucking minutes.
At the very end.
He's probably the biggest star in the movie.
Right.
All I remember, he was in the movie Shane, which is probably the biggest one. But I remember when I was a kid, there was this Ripley's Believe It or Not show. It was on the early '80s, and he was the host of it. And he did a creepy version, Believe It or Not.
Right.
That's all I really remember Jack Palance from. But you saw him, you go, oh, I know that guy. He was in City Slickers.
Oh yeah, he was.
And so he's lurking in the background, and I don't. He talks to Tarl.
Tarl's hanging out with Talina.
Talina, you're right.
Oh, I got it that time.
You were gonna say Tarla, no, it's
Tarla. Talina. And she's like, oh my God, please take me back home with you. I can't live my life. I'm gonna kill myself if you aren't banging me by the end of this movie. And her dad's like, it's true. You really do need to put the spurs.
He's like, I want to bang you.
Yeah.
We all do.
Exactly. So they're like walking out. They come across Jack Palance.
Xenon, I think, was his name.
Yeah, I didn't write it. Oh, you think you wrote it down?
I might have.
And she's like, Zeno. She's like, I've never seen
the male
you
version
here.
of Xeno.
And he gives a little explanation of I've been here protecting you forever.
I didn't even care enough to pay attention.
No, there's no point. It's like, come on, just wrap things up here, guys.
But basically, what they're doing is they're setting up a sequel with this.
Yeah.
So he just says some gobbledygook. You don't need to know.
So they're kind of like getting down to the deed, Taro and Talina, and like they're in the background. You got the homestone in the foreground, and it starts just like emanating light and everything.
He finally got her naked, and then damn, gets cock blocked by the fucking homestone.
Yeah, it sounds like she's gonna go home with him.
Right.
And no, he gets up, he walks over to the stone, he touches it, and boom, he's back at college. And Darcy, or whatever her name was, Bev, is trying to, like...
50-year-old Bev,
trying to chat him up in the hallway. He's got his old nerd outfit back on again, but he's got a new confidence. He's got a new swagger because he was just in a world where
almost had
everybody
sex
wanted
with a
him.
woman. He's
So, a far hotter woman, too.
Yeah.
So
I'd be like, I don't want to fucking go back to her.
Right.
Like that.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how he is. He's like, I don't care anymore. And Norman comes over, the chat from earlier in the movie, and he's just like, oh, hey, Taro, what did you get up to? And he's just like, oh, just hanging out with Priest Kings, murdered a couple people, banged several broads, got a new cock ring. He's just... It's just like the nerd who had the best summer vacation. He's bragging about
Top that, Norman.
Exactly. And Norman's like, yeah, well, I topped her yesterday. And he's just like, see if
50.
I care.
She's 50.
Yeah, see if I care. She's old news. And he just delivers bloody nose right to Norman's face. It's beautiful.
He had it coming.
He did have it coming. So,
and then cue credits, right?
Yeah, Jack Palance has another moment where he's like, finally, we got Taro out of the picture so I can go ahead and rule the world. Taro is the balance to this world, apparently. It's the most...
It's like, so it's basically, see you for the sequel, Outlaw of Gore.
Yeah.
Because they filmed the sequel the same time they filmed this movie. Because there's no way anybody would come back to work on this movie again.
So... Movie's over, credits have rolled, but before we get in and close this out, I just want to read to you something that I came across in research time. It's a little... I forget how long it's going to take to read here, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's called Houseplants of Gore, and this is taken... What's that?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm more intrigued than the movie, actually.
Yeah. No, it's far more interesting.
And we're talking about houseplants, and I'm more intrigued.
Yeah. So this is taken from one of the novels. I don't know how...
Houseplant of Gore.
Yeah. The novel's not called Houseplant of Gore.
It's not?
No.
Should be.
It should be. There should be a whole novel about just houseplants. But this excerpt is called Houseplant of Gore, and here we go. The spider plant cringed as its owner brought forth the watering can. I am a spider plant, it cried indignantly. How dare you water me before my time? Guards, it called. Guards! Boren, its owner, placed the watering can on the table and looked at it. You will be watered, he said. You do not dare water me, laughed the plant. You will be watered, said Boren. Do not water me, wept the plant. You will be watered, said Boren.
That was 5 pages of just that, back and forth.
Oh, there we go. I watched this exchange. Truly, I believed the plant would be watered. It was plant, and on Gore, it had no rights. Perhaps on Earth, in its permissive society...
Even the plants are slaves! God damn!
Perhaps on Earth, in its permissive society, which distorts the true roles of all beings, which forces both plants and waterer to go unhappy and constrained, which forbids the fulfillment of owner and houseplant, such might not happen. Perhaps there it would not be watered, but it was on Gore now, and it would undoubtedly feel its true place, that of a houseplant. It was plant. It would be watered at will.
Do plants have calves too? Brand of plant.
Apparently. Such is the way of plants. Gotta stop doing this.
There's more?
Oh my God, yes. Oh, here we go. The plant sobbed muchly as Bourne laid down the watering can.
Why wouldn't a plant want to be watered?
Oh, shit.
Well, I guess it's crying.
I skipped the whole part because I keep highlighting for some reason. Such is the way of plants. Bourne picked up the watering can and muchly watered the plant. The plant cried out, "No, master, do not water me." The master continued to water the plant.
Waterboarding.
Please, master, begged the plant. "Do not water me." The master continued to water the plant. It was a plant. It could be watered at will. The plant sobbed muchly as Bourne lay down the watering can. It was not pleased. 2. It was wet. But this did not matter. It was plant. "You have been well watered," said Bourne. "Yes," said the plant. "I have been well watered. Of course, it could be watered by its master at will." "I have watered you well," said Bourne.
I could see if he was like going to piss on the plant, like that would be humiliating. But he's just watering.
He's trying to give the nutrition to the plant. Right. "Yes, master," said the plant. "You have watered your plant well. I am plant, and as such, I should be watered by my master." The cactus plant next to the spider plant shuddered. It attempted to cover its small form with its small arms and small needles. "I am plant," it said wonderingly. "I am of earth. But for the first time, I feel myself truly plant-like. On Earth, I was able to control my watering. I often scorned those who would water me, but they were weak and did not see my scorn for what it was, the weak attempt of a small plant to protect itself. Not one of the weak Earth waterers would dare to water a plant if it did not wish it. Wow. But on Gore, it shuddered. On Gore, it is different. Here those who wish to water will water their plants as they wish. But strangely, I feel myself most plant-like when I am at the mercy of a strong Gorean master, who may water me as he pleases. I will now water you, said Boren, the cactus's Gorean master. It's almost over. The cactus did not resist being watered. Perhaps it was realizing that such watering was its master's to control. Perhaps it knew that this master was far superior to those of Earth, who would not water it if it did not wish it to be watered. The cactus's watering had been finished. The spider plant looked at it. I have been well watered, it said. I, too, have been well watered, said the cactus. My master has watered me well, said the spider plant. My master, too, has watered me well, said the cactus. I am to be placed in a hanging basket on the porch, said the spider plant. I, too, am being placed on a hanging basket on the porch, said the cactus. I wish you well, said the spider plant. I, too, wish you well, said the cactus plant. Tal, said the spider plant. Tal, too, said the cactus.
God, how the fuck?
Last 3 paragraphs.
Christ! 3 more paragraphs? It's just them going back and forth.
It's like 3 sentences per. I did not think that the spider plant would object to being watered by its master again, for it realized that it was plant, and that here, unlike on Earth, it was likely to be owned and watered by many masters. By L, who has far too many Gore books and taken far too many finals to be allowed to run rampant on a computer. You can go back to writing's page or return to the main page from here. That was a link, but I chose to read it.
In case you really want to read more about that houseplant of Gore.
Holy shit.
That was the best and worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, if that's a snippet of what the Gore world's about, I don't want any part of it.
I died reading that. Like, I read it 4 or 5 times. It's amazing. I want to know what book that came from.
Houseplants of Gore.
Houseplants of Gore. All right. Book 32, Houseplants of Gore. That's when he got disbarred from, or blackballed by the fantasy publishers.
Probably.
They were like, you went too far with the houseplants.
You can talk about raping and beating women up.
Yeah.
Houseplants, no.
Sex slaves, we were on board. Overwatering a houseplant.
That bridge too far.
Bridge too far. Wow. Okay. Gore's under the belt here. We're done with that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh.
We wanted to talk about this. I think that what you just read was worth watching Gore.
Dude, I love the movie was just like, okay, we can have fun with it. But then when we got into all that, I was like, okay, this.
I would have enjoyed it more if it was just that scene you did was in the movie.
That would have been great. Let's go ahead.
Like Sarm was just torturing a cactus.
We can recreate one of those sets for about $30. We'll go ahead. We'll get Mike to be like the spider plant or something. I'll be the cactus. You can do the watering.
Cool.
Yeah, you can be Boring. I think his name was
Boring.
Hello.
Yeah, so I don't know. Sorry,
we got an action-packed episode next week.
Yeah. I got Griff. I got a raging case of VD.
Yeah.
And when I say VD, I can only mean Van Damme.
Man, if only little Ric Flair was in the next movie. Woo! Love him.
We're going back. It's been since episode 2. We have not done any Van Damme. We got to talk about Van Damme. Goddammit. Van Damme it. We got to talk about Van Damme.
Van Damme it. So, it's going to be a big week. I got this movie on Laserdisc. I'm going to be watching it via Laserdisc. I'm very excited about that. Got some real villains again. We got some real heroes again. It's going to be great. No more boring sex cult stuff.
Let's tell them what it is. It's Kickboxer.
It's Kickboxer.
We're not fucking around anymore. We tortured you enough with gore, so we're gonna.
Hey man, we gotta take
the opposite of torture.
We gotta take everybody through the wondrous joyride.
Yeah, we have to. If you're talking about '80s movies, we got to touch on the Conan ripoffs. There's so many.
Yeah,
I'm sorry it was gore. There are some that are better, but hey, we never saw Gore too. I knew a little bit about the backstory of Gore. He knew nothing about it, so we went through just as much hell as you guys just did. At least we made ours kind of entertaining.
Everyone got to hear about the houseplants, so they got exactly what they needed out of it. Houseplants and cats.
Yes, I'm glad. And like a true pro, you left it for the ending. So you kept people, string them along.
Yeah, that's right.
And we got the truth out. So, hey, man, fight the power against Gore.
Yeah. Gore via pedophiles.
So, Kickboxer next week.
Be there or be square.
Yeah. Well, Griff, I'm going to go water your cactus right now. So
don't water that cactus, man.
It
has free will. It's on Earth.
I will water your cactus.
My house is so loud because all the plants are always telling me, don't water me.
I'm going to water it. I'm going to keep it warm.
Fuck it. All right. Bye-bye.